Okay. This top is very noisy. We're going to talk today about different types of grips or like how to keep your wig secure. And this does depend on a few different things, including someone's head. Oh yeah, I wanted to bring a head. One sec. I'll use this one. So today we're going to talk about how to secure a wig. Any wig. Sorry, the birds are really distracting. Okay, so we're going to talk about how to secure a wig. So it does depend on someone's head shape. It does depend on what type of wig. If we break it down, and I'll explain to you guys a little bit about sizing. So let's say someone's head, and this is a cap, and it's just a basic cap. Obviously, it can have a lace top, a lace front, whatever it is. But when it comes to the sizing, it really depends on someone's fit. So let's start like this. So the first important thing when it comes to securing your wig, I always say that you want your wig to fit you. So obviously this can get a little bit tricky because there's a lot of details to make sure your wig fits you properly, and depends on your head shape in the sense of your shape of your head from the front to the back, and also like where your ear placement is, where you're going to wear your wig, if you're going to have your hairline out. That also really matters. If you have some hair out at the bottom, all of this will affect how your wig sits on you and how secure it is. So people that have a good curve from the top to the bottom, it's gonna sit really nice and snug. Now, when people don't have, so let's say someone's head shape is going to be something like, if I bring this back and this has a little bit more flat shape at the back, you're going to have a difficult time for it to sit snug on you. And let's say your ear placements are either high or low based on the cap, that this needs to go back or forth if this is kind of like hitting the back of your ear. So all of this kind of stuff is going to affect how it's going to fit you. And when it comes to getting your wig made and making sure it fits you right first, nothing to do with like what kind of grips or clips that you use. Once it fits you good, then you will still need some sort of grip, but once it fits right, it's good. One of the main things also is that if you have your hairline coming out at the front or coming out at the bottom, it's going to disturb the tension, which also is going to lead to more slipping, so you're going to need more clips. That's just an example. And another thing is if you have like hair that you're tucking in under the cap and it's pretty heavy at the back, that's also going to cause tension and pull it back. So it really does play. And then there's like the whole other side when it comes to actually making the wigs. So what I'm referring to is like when we make custom wigs, we use a lot of the shape as an illusion. So we want to make sure that when a wig is made, that you have a lot more height at the front and on the sides, and then the back is a lot flatter and thinner, so it creates this illusion, and especially not to do with the coning. I'll actually tell you guys here because it's very important. I find this an issue for a lot of people, is that so the parting of your scalp, if it's a skin top or a lace top, you want to make sure that it has a nice curve at the back, so it goes back. If you get a wig that has a lace top or a lace front that's going to hit you like pretty short and your natural hairline goes back, it's going to really disturb how it's going to fit you because you're going to keep wanting to move it back or forward and so on. So that really does help. Most people's head goes curve here, right? And when that happens, you want to make sure that there's no marks. What I mean by that is like you see like this, like stitching. So if this stitching is going to end up on someone's curve, it's going to be obvious. So for me, I usually customize the stitching to like either be lower or like higher, that I have the really thin part at the curve. Same idea when it comes to the sides over here. So this is actually for a lot of people. If you have a narrow head shape over here and especially if it starts dipping at the front, you want to make sure that the hair that someone's placing in is going to also create an illusion. So I call it fillers sometimes. I make sure I have fillers like on the sides here to make sure it evens out. Because if you have the front of the wig here dipping and then a lot more height here, it's not going to look natural. Okay, but I'm getting too much into the actual construction, but just to give you an idea of how important the fit is before it means secure, because let's just say cap doesn't fit you in one of these ways, and then you're going to choose one of the grips that's good for you. You might have to kind of work around certain things. So if the cap is too small and then you get one of the thick grips, it's going to get even tighter and it's going to give you a headache. And let's say if your cap is too big and you use one of the grips, it's not actually going to do enough. And then you might have an opinion that the grip is not good for you, but it's actually the cap. So making sure your cap fits well is super, super important. Now, when it comes to choosing a grip, the more basic ones when it comes to, let's say if you have your hair out in the front or you have your hair out the bottom, use that tension, or it's a topper or hair piece. You don't need to use clips because you don't have that tension. What I mean by that is that if you use one of the bands without clips, because you don't have a good tension overall, because let's say it's a topper, or let's say your hair is getting in the way of the tension, you're going to need something to kind of hold it in place. You can use the clips and clip it onto your band if you don't want to clip it to your bio hair. And there are other options when it comes to, let's say, toppers or pieces that some people glue it as well. That's also a good option, and I'm going to show you guys what you would need to have in the sense of keeping your wig in good quality. We'll get to that, but let's get into the clips first. So when it comes to clips, I'm going to take this off. You're most likely going to have the clips around the ears if you have the ears. Some people have it around the nape, so at the back. And then you also have these ones, which is for the top, like here. And some people put these also at the top. Now, if it's a lace top or you have a lace front and you have any clips here, it's going to affect the actual lace. And also you have to be careful when it comes to having it at the front because you might be able to see it, again, depending on the curve. So I'm going to put this back on. Hold on. So if you have a low hairline and you have a clip here, like one of these, and you have them inside here, and it's on your curve, you're going to see it for sure. Like it's going to create, even if it's really thin, it's going to create some sort of bump. When it comes to people with low hairline, they are more limited in a few different options. And this is definitely one of them. So you have to be careful. You rather put them on the side. And even if you have the band, you probably will still kind of see it. So the ones that I have here, I brought a few different options. So let me show you guys this up front. Okay, so this one is kind of like this comby one, and that's usually on the top. Actually, some people put it on the nape, like upside down like this. Like here, you put it like this in the inside, and that also grabs the back if you want it to be tucked in. So people actually that don't have such a curve here, sometimes they will need to use a clip at the bottom because it looks so much nicer when the wig cap is sitting lower, because it's going to give you a nice curve instead of it looking like it's in the air. That's going to cause something over here. That's this one. I've never really seen these on the side. I have seen like really large ones that go around here, but again, you kind of see them. Then for the side, there is this one. Wait 1 second. It has some hair on it. Like, yeah. Okay. Then I have this one. So this one's the most popular one. If I can zoom in. And this one is probably the strongest one, and it has like a slight curve. Can you guys see that? Like that. There you go. Okay, that's the curved one. Actually, let me show you the other one too. So to lean a little bit more. Okay. That was the first one I showed you guys. And then there's like the straight one, which is a little bit smaller. Okay. And the same one, but kind of slightly different. Come on, there. And I would say these are less strong, but they're a little bit thinner. And different companies, I would say, have better quality ones. They are fun to play with. Okay, then I have these tiny cute ones. How cute is that? These are mainly for toppers or for like small areas like on the sides here. I would never put this on the bottom. I know these are also used for extensions, but these can also be used for toppers too. I would say this is maybe too thick, but it is strong. So depending on the kind of topper you have, that might be a good option. Oh yeah, so if your wig comes with clips already and you don't use them, I would say take them out. If you guys want, I'll show you how. But it's going to be bulky and it's going to catch your hair and that's going to annoy you. So take them out if you don't use them. So let's say a lot of our wigs are not made with clips. Like we don't really need to use them unless somebody feels like they need to have it. They feel safer with it. So we'll put it in for them. But most of the times we don't use these. Okay. We use these. And I'm going to show you the different kinds when it comes to this. And we'll talk about it a little bit. Okay. So, also people ask me like, where do you place the actual grip on your head? And this matters on which one you use. So let's go back to this for a second. So when it comes to the sizing, people that have a certain shape that they need to have, so like let's say if they have like a lot of hair at the back tucked in, and let's say they don't have such a big curve, so it's not such a grip, so it's kind of just like placed on the head, and you're gonna need that grip because otherwise this is gonna move very easily. Then you want to go for the strongest one. Now a lot of times I find it in larger caps or larger heads, and if you're gonna then use a thick band, it might be more obvious. So again, you would want to use like that illusion when it comes to the hair placement if it's a custom one. But yeah, let's get into these types. There's hair everywhere. I mean like duh, but like, yeah. Oh wait, I was gonna bring the other one. Let's put this here. Ah! So, let me bring this back. Yes. Okay. Now, so when it comes to grips, the ones that are out, there's a few different kinds when it comes to what's available. So when it comes to the options, the ones that don't have the lace bit and they just have the velvet, so like the velvet all around, are going to be the strongest ones because the grip is obviously throughout and it just hugs you better. Now, these are a little bit bulky, especially people that have smaller heads. It might be a little bit difficult. And the actual velvet is different in different companies. So that's why sometimes it doesn't actually have the best grip. And also, you see those stitching, and then let's say a stitching like this. That's going to affect. So this one's actually thinner than this one. And then the main thing about it is that, so you guys see that the velvet has like this hair stuff, and so that means it has to go against. So if you're using one of these, you have to make sure you're weighing them the right way, otherwise they won't work. So that's like a big thing I've had to tell some clients, that they've been using the bands and they're like, it's not actually holding so well, and sometimes they're just weighing it the opposite way. Now we're going to get into these ones, which this one is one that I made a while ago, and you can see it has the elastic at the bottom, so that's already going to be a lot easier at the back. And then it has a little bit more of like a triangle shape, so you can see. So it's for like when it goes over here, it just feels more comfortable. It's not so bulky, and especially for the smaller heads, it's not as strong as this because there's less of it, and also the material is slightly thinner. It also has the lace part, and the lace part is basically for wherever your parting is, for it to look more natural and less bulky. There'll be less tension and friction from the velvet to hold it in place. It's still really good, so depending, you would want to try both, but different companies have different material and fabrics. This is our new one, which is not available yet, and I'll have to tell you guys more about it a different time, but it's really thin and light and awesome, and I can't wait to show you guys. So there's this as well. And I'm going to put it on the head to show you guys. And again, this really does matter where you place it, depends on your head shape and how your wig actually fits you. So let's do this one first. And again, I'll check. So if I feel like it's going against and not smooth, then I want the against to be over. I want the against to be from the front. I was trying to think how to say this. From the front, so that when you put your wig on, it holds it, right? So it's over here. Okay. So now when you put this on, you obviously put this on first, and when you put your wig on, it will move slightly back. Don't worry too much about it, which is why you also want to bring it a little bit more forward and let it slide back, but always make sure to check the sides, to check that they're not sticking out of your wig, because then you'll have to like tuck it in. But this is also to show you guys, obviously this head is very small and does not have ears, but like if you bring it back, so if your ear placement is in a certain location and you have very short back, you're going to have trouble here because you can see this is already bunching. And it depends on where your ear is, this is going to be hitting you in the ear, it's going to be a bit uncomfortable. So if it is, it's not really worth it to use this one because it's going to bother you and it's going to actually affect how the wig looks. So you do want to bring it pretty close. When it comes to color, you don't necessarily have to get black or beige based on your hair color, but it can sometimes help if you wear it pretty close and if you by mistake didn't tuck it in, you know? Okay. And also you can see here, it's pretty bulky at the bottom. So that might bother you, but it's very, very good grip. So the same thing with this one, so the one with the lace, I have to make sure where the direction and to make sure that it's the right place. Okay. So you guys can see now it's covering a little bit less of the back, so it's going to be a lot more comfortable for you. And you will have to make sure that it's sitting underneath as well. And it's really nice for the top, wherever your parting is. You can slightly move this like to the side. That will affect a little bit here, so just be careful. And this one, if you move it back, because of your ear, you're going to have more space in the sense of it not bunching. So it might be a little bit better for you. So this one's not as strong as that one, but still pretty good. I would say I really like these. Depends on the company. You'll have different fabrics, and some companies will also have like a little sticker and it'll tell you where to wear it, like which direction. So you can see this is going against. If I would wear it the other way, it would be smooth and it won't hold. Okay. Again, I can't. Okay, so I'm not going to show you this one because I'll make a different video on this. Oh yeah, and then one other thing I told you about the clips. Oh, and there's also one that I saw that someone had for toppers, and it's just like this size, and then it had like the see-through string. That looked pretty cool. Okay, so let's say you have a clip on your cap. So let's say you have it on your ear, right? Like if that's how it comes for you, like on the side, and that's going to be here. You want to try to place the clip onto the band like this. Hold on. Okay, like this. And a little bit with your hair, but it might pull. But this will be a good idea if you want it to be a little bit more secure. But I will say that it might pull it back depending on your head shape. That actually reminds me, you know, some people that take their wig, they attach the velvet onto the inside of the cap. So when it comes to sewing it into the actual cap and then putting it onto your head, you don't have anything in between to kind of hold it. It won't work as well. It'll be okay, it'll do something, but I think it's just a bit too bulky and doesn't have enough effect to do this personally. So I told you guys about the fabric. Not fabric. Plastic material. Actually, it's like PVU or PUV or whatever that's called. So basically this is, let me just put this away, hold on. Let's say you don't want to use clips and you want to use glue. You can also use a band, but let's say equivalent to an option for clips is to use this material. So you take some of this material and you cut it out and you sew it into the cap. So this you actually sew onto the cap. If you have a lace front, you have to be a little bit more careful, but you'll sew it onto here. This material goes onto the cap, yeah? And then once it's on the cap, like you sew it like a patch, and then when you use glue, then this sticks to the glue. Now, you can also use a patch at the bottom as well, or at the front, and then you can just replace them, which is pretty good. So that's also another good option. Just to be careful with the lace and the lace front, and if you have a lining, because it might damage it, and try to change it as often as you can in the sense of a good grip and just maintaining good quality for your wig. Okay, I think we covered everything, but if you guys have any questions or if I missed anything, let me know. And comment below if you guys use any of these and what do you think, if you had a certain experience with them or you had a little bit of trouble with them. Till then, I will see you guys soon, and I hope you guys have a good day. Bye.